morning, millennials. Welcome back to the Morning Toast. Happy Thursday, so close to Friday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So exciting that it's Thursday. So blessed to be here on a Thursday.
Let's take a minute
to appreciate
the fact that it's not Monday. It's not Tuesday. You thought maybe it was. No, it's not Wednesday.
No. Oh, no.
It's Thursday. And that's a great place to be in the week. Because
it's a great place to be.
It's not too far. You're not like Sunday, like you're so far gone. Like there's so much hope on the horizon. So everyone just close your eyes. Appreciate this moment. Like we have so much excitement ahead of us.
Soak it in. This is now a meditation podcast.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, I don't know if that's relaxing.
Yes. It's ASMR. I'm obsessed with ASMR.
Are you? Is that good ASMR? How do you have to hear it in order to know if it's good, yeah?
Yeah, like I should be wearing headphones, but you guys tell me. Like this is what my favorite girl Josie does. She goes like,
I can't even listen to you do that. I can't imagine that is peaceful. Please stop.
And then she like pretends you're at the spa. Welcome. My name is Josie. I use she, her pronouns. What's your name? And then you have like a conversation with her.
Got it. Okay.
Love
I don't think ASMR is for me.
Oh my God, it's everything of the sort. Speaking of everything of the sort, welcome to the Morning Toast.
Welcome. Today we have a great show for you today. It's our last show in studio for the week. We'll be podcast only tomorrow. And because it was our last visual show, we decided to come in with new merch ones.
Got new merch? What were you gonna say?
My story from last week where I had a typo in my caption.
Me merch?
No, it was like I'm using this phone case until I get me new merch one. And I felt like Miss Patmore from Downton Abbey.
Jackie and I are modeling.
We got our new merch ones.
Spring 2020. This is for our February 17th launch. That's only...
This is spring 2020.
You know what I mean? Like spring, summer, charade.
Okay, this is winter
Fall.
2021 because it's launching next week. It's February.
Thank
very
you.
much winter. These are very thick, cozy, delicious sweaters.
I'm wearing the How You Dern style.
Will you pop up to the side because this is the most sickening design.
And... comes with matching phone case.
Yes, and it comes in a long sleeve version, and it comes with a beanie too.
Beanie.
It is so fucking sickening. I'm so excited about that design.
No, this is like the rodeo design of our dreams. You can catch me at Stagecoach in this beanie and sweatshirt combo.
100%.
And show everyone what you're wearing.
Redheads merch. We have some really exciting merch dropping. This is the maroon sweatshirt.
Sickening.
I mean, I love it because it like looks so professional and collegiate and smart. And it's always a good time to become a redhead, but I just feel like wearing this merch is the actual best time to become one.
It's similar to like, you know, when people wear their Harvard sweatshirt.
100%. Like
it's like, I'm a part of a book club,
yeah,
bitch.
This says, I have a book club. We have merch. We have interests. We're interesting.
Yeah. I think it's a good look for you, for the redheads out there.
I totally agree. Even like non-redheads, we won't care if you wear the merch and look smart and don't care to participate in our book club. But also this sweatshirt is coming in a cream color, which is literally the sweatshirt I've been dreaming of since we launched the podcast. I was like, I need a cream logo sweatshirt. I have it. It's stunning. I will be wearing it all weekend. And then we're also launching mugs, phone cases, notebooks. So there's so much redhead merch. It's a great time to become a redhead. Like all these, like, and also it's our 1 year anniversary this week of doing redheads. So for those of us who have been on the ride since the beginning, like, this is just a little treat for us.
It's a little full circle moment for the passion projects.
The passions are just overflowing because now I'm obviously passionate about redheads, but I'm so passionate about our merch now.
Yeah, I mean, I've had this phone case for like 2 weeks and it has been killing me like not to take mirror pictures showing it off.
I know, and I just got my redheads phone case and I've also been dreaming of this phone case because once again, it's just like sleek and cool and smart and interesting.
So mark your calendars, February 17th.
February 17th, all available at shopmorningtoast.com.
Always. Not to be confused. Like, not to be confused with Hermes.com. It's Shop Morning Toast. It's very similar. I know it's confusing because like the designs are kind of similar.
So similar. Anyways, it's just like so exciting. Sickening merch, sickening the warehouse down. I'm excited for the warehouse to get the merch out so that it won't be so sick anymore.
Yeah, maybe we got to get the warehouse the vaccine.
We might have to.
We actually have like a sickening show for you guys today. I'm really excited for everyone to hear our interview with Jen Davis from The Real Housewives of Dallas. We actually spoke about her last week on the show when recapping The Real Housewives of Dallas about how it feels odd, her presence on the show, because she's invited to everything. It's almost like she's a castmate, but it felt like something had happened. And when we mentioned that on the show and some of the rumors that were being spread on blogs and Reddit, she reached out to us and she said she's a toaster, she loves the podcast, and she'd love to just come on and say her piece, which I thought was so cool. And she did just that. We interviewed her yesterday. If you're watching on YouTube, it'll be at the end of the podcast, and podcasters just keep listening. She was so open and honest, because there was a lot of shit that went down, and she just comes right out and says it. And I had so much respect for her. So I hope everyone listens to it with like an open mind and an appreciation for the transparency. Because like now that she's not of like an actual housewife, like she doesn't owe us an explanation.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was so cool of her. And I actually ended up like loving her.
No, me too. I really liked her approach and her outlook towards this time in her life and what the show meant to her. I think some people might see it differently, but I think she just had such a positive, great outlook. And after speaking with her, I really hope that the stars align and that she is a full-time housewife next year, because I think she's so fabulous.
Me too. I think
I loved her energy.
There's more there.
I loved her energy.
Me too. And the fact that she's a toaster, like she's obviously a beautiful, stunning, and smart queen with amazing taste in podcasts, influencers, and comedians and authors.
100%.
Oh my God, speaking of
all of those
words, Clubhouse.
Claudia and I joined Clubhouse yesterday.
I wasn't entirely sure on what it was. I'd read some articles about it, but a girl I used to work with who I haven't literally heard from in years, she was texting me. She's like, I have this invite. Do you want it? And I was like, okay. And I just signed up, and you and Margot signed up literally the same day. You actually got the invitation. I got the invitation like a week ago, and I didn't do anything with it.
I got the invitation yesterday morning, and I signed up yesterday, and then I was like, guys, we should do this. And I was like I had been thinking about it, but I didn't realize you needed an invite. So like my invite came, and then I joined.
Yeah, of course. I'm not going to go seeking out an invite. No, like, that's desperate.
Yeah, no, I hadn't gotten to that place yet, but I probably would have gotten there. But I was glad to have gotten an invite. And yesterday we spent the day sort of trying to figure out what's going on there. You started a chat.
Room.
You started a room last night. There was like a lot of people on.
And what I liked about it, and I feel like it has a similar kind of vibe to how I do my Instagram lives. Obviously, Instagram Live is audio and video, and Clubhouse is an app where you basically start like a chat room just using audio, and anyone can join, and you can join people. You can bring people up on the stage to moderate the conversation with you. So at first it was just me, you, and Margot talking about like what we thought Taylor Swift's announcement was going to be, which we're going to get into in the Fast Five. And then all these people started to join. Vinny Guadagnino from the Jersey Shore, and he really elevated the conversation because we're huge Jersey Shore fans.
100%. And it's clear that he knows what he's doing on
Clubhouse. And he's been on the toast, and we were saying this on the chat. Like, he was actually the first podcast I ever went on. Like, back in the day, he had a podcast with Podcast One, and I was like so nervous because I was such a big Jersey Shore fan. So he was great. And then my friend Marge, who's a DJ, and she likes she's like a fabulous DJ, like in the city, like back in normal times, like if there was a fabulous party, like Marge was the DJ, like Dolce & Gabbana, like everything. And now she streams her concerts on Twitch. And so of course she's on Clubhouse, and she texted me like, cause she was like, saw that I was struggling, and she was helping me, and then she joined. We brought her up on the stage, and she was just like being so funny, and it was just like a great random group of people. And we went on for like an hour just talking about Jersey Shore, Taylor Swift, Clubhouse, and it was awesome. Like, I actually really enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it. I learned a lot about Clubhouse. Like, I'm feeling better, and I feel like for the toaster community, like it could be a really great place for all of us.
Audio, like that's literally what we do.
No, that is what we do. So I think there are going to be ways that we can find to make it super fun and toasty.
Yeah. I'm feeling like I kind of want to treat it just like my Instagram lives. Like, you know, some people say they're a hit. And I think like the element of just like anyone can stumble in. And that's what Marge was telling me. She's like, it's crazy, especially at night. Like, people start rooms about random conversations, and then like Bethany Frank will drop in. Like, celebrities are just dropping into people's rooms to like hear interesting conversations. And
yeah.
It's like this, nobody has like millions of followers yet. So it's kind of like an even playing field, which is cool.
And it's nice that it's audio, so you don't have to like worry about, you know, getting your look together to get on a room. So you're just jumping from room to room.
Yeah, and so that is like a benefit. But then another thing that I felt last night was like, I was literally laying in bed like a piece of shit, like legs spread, like a finger out my nose, like, but also my phone was laying on my chest, and I was just talking, and it was so comfortable. And while that's great, because, you know, I hate putting on makeup, that also seems like a recipe for disaster, because you feel like you're just talking with your sisters and friends, and there are things you say publicly and there are things you say privately. And, you know, sometimes some of the things I say are a little mean, but I would always say it to you.
Yeah.
And so just having Clubhouse like make me feel so comfortable like actually scared me a little bit.
But I think that's what makes the conversations actually interesting.
Agreed.
And because the audio like doesn't live on, I think they want you to be comfortable.
Yeah, that's true. Like you watch it live, and then I think it disappears. Like, there's no archive, which thank God.
Yeah.
Because I'm the queen of, you know, just.
So my handle is at Jackie Oshry, and you can follow me for some really lively discussions.
Do you know what my handle is?
Girl with no job.
It is. But when I first signed up, someone took Girl with No Job. So I did Girl with No Job. And I went to go see who found it. And it was a guy named Rotem Tamir. And I'm like, okay, Israeli. Like, I can relate. Maybe this person follows me. So I DM at Rotem Tamir on Instagram. And I'm like, And I saw he's responded to my stories like, come to Israel or I love LA, like just responding to stuff. So I'm like, are you the Rotem Tamir who stole my username? And he was like, yes, I finally got your attention. And he gave it back to me, like, no problem. He was so nice. And shout out Rotem Tamir for not making me like pay you $5,000.
Wow, that is so crazy. I didn't know you had that experience yesterday and that it was like so successful.
Wow, you don't watch my stories? Like I chronicled the whole thing.
Oh, did you?
Wow.
Sometimes I don't watch with sound. I'm not going to lie. Especially when it's like you're talking to the camera and
so like just my pride and joy. That's crazy.
Really.
I literally watch everything. I mean, I guess like you put out like 10% of the stories that I put out, but
and
still.
I make my stories so that you don't have to listen to sound.
And I respond to
because that's how I listen.
All of your stories. I'm like, LOL. Like
I respond to all of yours too.
Oh my God, I can't believe you don't watch my face talking ones. Those are my favorite ones.
No, some of them I do, but also like sometimes you're recapping a show and it's like either we recap it on the toast or I don't watch the show. So I just tap, tap, tap.
That's tap 3 fucking taps. Wow. No, she puts on her redheads merch and she finally says the truth.
You know what? I'm like, now that I'm thinking about why I don't watch certain things, I'm realizing that if you're talking to the camera, I like when there's a little bit of text underneath, just like letting you know what you're talking about. I think that would be like really great.
I know. I'm just like so lazy.
Yeah.
And there really should be a feature.
Like if you had captioned like, oh my God, username drama with my Clubhouse, like I would have been like, what?
Yeah, no, you're right about that. People are getting really good at that. I also do wish there was some sort of closed captioning feature.
I think there is.
Oh.
I think there is. I've seen on other people.
There should be. Me too.
Like their text just like coming across the screen of what they're saying.
I will do better on, categorizing and
teasing.
Yeah. You're right. I just throw shit at the wall and I'm like, hopefully someone thinks that's funny.
Yeah, like if you just gave like a couple words about what this story's about, like I think it would be even more engaging.
That's a decent idea.
Great.
Yeah.
Love to see it.
I'll work on it. That and my Clubhouse persona.
Yes, very, very exciting.
I definitely felt like a radio host, like, Khloe Kardashian when she moved to Miami and she was on that show. What up, Miami?
I definitely felt like a grandma trying to use the microwave. Like getting onto a new platform is just, it's crazy out there.
Yeah, like when I got on TikTok, I felt old because like all the kids who were making like sickening edited videos were so young. With Clubhouse, everyone...
I feel dumb.
Yes, that's what I was going to say.
Everyone is a genius.
Everyone who I know on it is like a top leader in their field.
Yes.
So I'm like... oh, I'm dumb. I can't figure this out.
Yeah, no, like everyone is Elon Musk. Everyone has Bitcoin.
It's a big Bitcoin community.
I know. And so I do feel like,
that's where we need to be.
I feel like the intern.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like the new kid in school, which is the worst.
Yeah, it has like a LinkedIn-y feel. And just given our work, like we're not big LinkedIn people.
I actually deleted my LinkedIn a few years ago.
And so it's a new vibe for us, but I'm here for it to be like in the professional community.
Yeah, so follow us, Jackie Oshry and Girl with No Job. No, I got the 1B. Girl with No Job.
Sweet.
Anything else you want to talk about before we dive in?
No, not much. Just Bruce has just been such a sweet, sweet love, and he's really been taking up my days. So if I'm gonna recap my day yesterday, it's just Bruce.
It's Bruce lunch. Bruce. Dinner,
yeah.
Bruce Clubhouse.
Yes.
Bruce
and Knowles.
Yes, you saw Magnolia last night, but I'll one-up you. I saw Michaela.
I know. There was a battle of the sisters dinner. If you were on our Clubhouse room, you knew that that's what was going down. Snitch came over for dinner. I cooked a romantic dinner for 2, while Knowles and Bruce got it on. This, like, Bruno was literally, like,
is Bruno's not neutered yet,
no,
right?
He's getting, like, now's the time. I'm going to schedule his appointment
soon.
soon.
It's so sad.
I know. I'm sad for him, but I'm also, like, glad he won't be, like, constantly horny, because I just feel like he can't focus on anything else because he's always so horny.
Well, he will still be, like, a little horny, but not nearly as much.
Yeah.
But I remember when Theo got neutered, I'm like, oh, the problem's solved. And he still, like, humped a little bit, especially right after the surgery. Mm-hmm. But it eventually fizzles out. Now Theo only humps when he's, like, really riled the fuck up.
Yeah, like when he sees you. For sure. And also I just feel like Bruno's productivity levels will be higher once he's like less
he can focus on his passions.
Yeah, he can't focus on anything right now. So that's what's new. That's the latest with Bruce
on the loose.
Bruce on the loose.
Hey, Bruce on the loose.
Ba-dum-bum.
We hope everyone enjoyed our Subway the Musical episode yesterday.
Oh my God, I
for one,
rewatched it a number of times.
As
It
did
was
I.
so fucking stellar.
And I got a bunch of suggestions, and one that I was remiss, devastated, and heartbroken not to have included is like when you take the train in from Jersey. Welcome to New York. It's been waiting for you. Well, speaking of Taylor Swift.
Speaking of Taylor Swift, let's get into the Fast Five stories that you need to know before you wake up and take a bite out of your morning toast. Because these are stories that you need to know before you wake up and take a bite out of your morning toast.
And honestly, I wouldn't be RDH. I would be PMS if I didn't tell everyone that today's episode is brought to you by Flex. They are innovating period care with products that are body safe, made for comfort, and made to keep you moving. The Flex disc is a one-time menstrual disc that fits perfectly inside your body. One Flex disc can be worn for up to 12 hours and holds as much flow as 3 super tampons. It's not a cup. It's unlike any other period product you've seen before. And it's the only product you can wear for mess-free period sex. Flex discs reduce waste by 60% compared to pads and tampons, so the planet will thank you too. And if you want to go zero waste, check out the Flex Cup, a reusable cup made with a velvety soft material for a comfortable fit. If you've thought about trying a menstrual cup, this is the one. Flex offers the only menstrual cup on the market with a pull tab, so you remove it the way you'd remove a tampon. It's so easy, you already know how to use it. And your Flex Cup is 100% reusable and lasts 4 years. Plus, it's completely body safe and non-toxic. Flex products are worth the learning curve, and Flex has videos, diagrams, FAQs, and even live chat Flexperts on their website to help you along the way.
Flexperts.
So say goodbye to leaks, mess, and stress, and say hello to healthier periods for people and the planet with Flex. Go to flexfits.com/toast and use the code TOAST for 20% off the Flex Disc Starter Kits or 10% off your first Flex Cup. Plus free U.S. shipping. That's code TOAST at flex, F-L-E-X, fits, FITS.com/toast. That's code TOAST at flexfits.com/toast.
Love it. Okay, first story. Taylor Swift announces imminent drop of Love Story re-recording and an upcoming Fearless album. Just in time for Valentine's Day, Taylor Swift is giving her fans the love story they've all been waiting for. On Thursday morning, the superstar delighted her Swifties by announcing that the re-recording of her career-changing song Love Story would drop at midnight. And if that weren't enough, Swift also revealed she's been hard at work re-recording Fearless, which will feature the new name of Fearless, Taylor's version. The new album will also feature 26 songs with a total of 6 new songs from the vault that she wrote between the ages of 16 and 18 that she intended to be on the Fearless album, but for one reason or another did not make the cut, industry rules. But now we're breaking down industry walls and she can put as many songs as she wants on the album.
Okay, so this is so exciting for so many reasons. Obviously, I knew the Love Story renewed version was coming out because it was on the Match.com commercial and we've known about it for a while. And whatever, I was excited about it, but not gonna, shit my pants over it. Really, I'm not. Well, who knows? But I will shit my pants over 26 re-recorded and 6 new songs from Fearless, which is one of my favorite albums, Forever and Always, You Belong With Me, Fearless, Hey Steven, White Horse, so many iconic songs. And I love that there's 6 new songs that are from that time in her life, because for me, her songwriting has always been really strong, but to me, that was when it was so innocent and delicious and hadn't blossomed yet. And I can't wait to hear 6 more songs from the mind of the 16-year-old Taylor Swift.
I completely agree. When I saw that it was Fearless that was going to be the first album she was re-recording, I got so excited. Fearless is such a pivotal
masterpiece.
But an album in my life that it's just one of my favorite albums of all time. Mm-hmm. You Belong With Me is literally the reason why we are called the Steens. It is one of my favorite songs of all time. So that she's re-recording those songs so we get to listen to them all over again is so exciting. But that we are also getting 6 songs that are of the same ilk, which are my favorite songs.
No, it's crazy.
I did not think I would be this excited about the re-releasing.
Right.
Because I don't know what I expected, but I kind of thought
Greatest
she
Hits?
would maybe start with Greatest Hits or maybe start with Red or something. I haven't thought it that much through. And just the fact that if Taylor Swift. And
that's what I assumed she was going to do. And while I love and respect the debut album, it is not one of my tops.
Yeah.
And I would have listened to the re-recorded album and stand it till the day I die. But Fearless, you're right, is a special piece of music in the grand scheme of the world of music, but also in our personal lives.
I agree.
It's such a transformative album. I have so many associations, like being at camp, being in high school, listening to these songs, and they really like shaped us as people. So I'm so thrilled she decided to go with Fearless. It's also the first time she won a Grammy for Album of the Year, and I think really catapulted her to another like pop star level of fandom and pop star level of fame. And it's just so exciting. I'm like pissed that we have to wait until April fucking 9th.
So that was the Easter egg. She capitalized a few letters. Very Lemony Snicket of her. If you guys have read the series of Unfortunate Events, it's clear that Taylor has too, because that is such a Violet Beauregard move. She capitalized all the letters that sent us a message.
Violet Beauregard is from Chocolate Factory.
Violet.
Right? Violet Beauregard is Charlie and the Chocolate Factory.
Wires are crossing. Are you? Yeah, but no, that sounds right. Hold
Violet, you're turning violet.
Lemony Snicket.
Violet.
Violet. Yeah, that works.
Probably just a different last name.
Baudelaire. Very similar.
That's confusing.
That is confusing.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
It's a Violet Baudelaire move. Wow, I didn't even realize how similar those names were.
Also, what the fuck is Lemony Snicket?
Series of Unfortunate Events. The books?
You know, it sounds familiar. Never read it.
Okay, but then, fine. Say you didn't read it, even though the books were fantastic. The show on Netflix with Jim Carrey as Count Olaf.
Don't know what you're talking about.
Oh my gosh. I mean, I never really watched the show because I had kind of outgrown it by then, but the books were so good. Not that you would ever read them now. Like, if you were ever going to read them, it was when we were kids. You guys, Lemony Snicket, Chef's Kiss.
I was more of a Harriet the Spy kind of gal.
Yeah, but these were like, it was a series of unfortunate events. It was these three orphans, the Baudelaires. Their parents passed away. They have to go live with their mean cousin, but they have a big fortune. And Count Olaf, who is played by Jim Carrey in the movies, he keeps popping up in all these different ways of in their life, but in disguises, but they always know it's him because he has an eye tattoo on his ankle. And every time they see it, they're like, spooky. But the Baudelaire children are geniuses and they find a way out of everything. Violet sends messages a la Taylor Swift.
Got it. Okay, right. That's what we were talking about. Thank you for bringing it back home.
And she let us know that it's probably dropping April 9th.
Very exciting. I'm so happy for Taylor. The album cover is sickening. It's an homage to her curly-haired, Fearless cover, Hair in the Wind, but it's more mature. Her hair isn't as curly anymore, but it's still like, it's very similar, but it's like the new Taylor Swift vibe inspired by the old Taylor Swift.
Yeah, it's like a collab
aesthetic
between the two Taylors.
Yeah, it's like 16-year-old Taylor met 30-year-old Taylor, and they made this cover together.
Yeah, but it also just looks like a picture taken on an iPhone with the sepia filter on it, which I respect as well.
It's just a great day to be a Taylor Swift fan. We got so much more than we were expecting. Like, I was really expecting just Love Story, and like that's like a decent announcement, but it's not huge.
I wasn't expecting just that because that's not like GMA worthy.
Yeah,
but this also kind of looks like the Lover cover.
Yeah, well, her hair is just the same.
No, and her face is to the side.
You my. She's just been giving us so much. Like, this will now be her third album in a year. Because Folklore was released in like, that's just crazy.
That is crazy.
And we're just used to getting so little from her and just like appreciating every crumb. And now I'm like genuinely feeling overwhelmed.
But I'm also glad, I mean, April 9th seems a little far away. I wish it was dropping in like 2 or 3 weeks because I'm glad that we have this lead up to get excited, but it's a little too much time.
I agree.
It's just a little too much.
But that's what it used to be. Like, before COVID, we used to find out about albums like a year in advance. And like, we would have to wait so long. So like, in the grand
especially in the Taylor world. This goes back to like old Taylor.
So in the grand scheme of things, like, okay, what, it's February, May is, April is, it's 2 months, like, right?
March, April.
Yeah, 2 months. It's like not that crazy, but in COVID times, it's an eternity.
It's an eternity, but maybe we could spend that time listening to the old versions because then I'm never listening to them ever again.
That's
like once
true.
The new ones come.
But I see, like, as true Swifties, like, haven't really streamed that music.
Yeah.
But actually, I own the Fearless album on iTunes. I actually own all the albums on iTunes. So I guess if I play them on my...
They already made the money, so
right.
It's over. That's fine.
Okay, and I bought it when Taylor was still a part of it.
I think Taylor would understand.
Okay, so just don't stream it. I'll send you guys illegally if anybody wants it.
No, she won't.
No, that's a joke. President Biden. And Madam Vice President. I was kidding. Piracy is a very serious issue. And FBI, it's a $250,000 fine. I used to remember that thing they put up before the movies. So I'm 100% kidding.
She's a comedian.
I am comic, and I was kidding.
Great. Love to see it.
Thank you so much for your service. God bless America.
So very exciting news for the Swifties, you know? It's been a great year for Swifties.
VENFTS.
Yes.
Then fitches.
Next up, Morgan Wallen breaks his silence after using a racial slur, tells fans not to defend him, quote, "I was wrong." Morgan Wallen is taking ownership of his actions after he was captured on video.
What website is this?
This is People Magazine.
Okay.
After he was captured on video using the N-word. On Wednesday, the country music star released a 5-minute Instagram video addressing his use of the racial slur, urging fans not to defend him as he wants to, quote, "take ownership for the offense." He said, "I'm long overdue to make a statement regarding my last incident. I wanted to collect my thoughts, seek some real guidance, and come to you with a complete thought before I did." According to Wallen, the video that surfaced was taken during a bender, which he said was not something I'm proud of either.
72-hour bender is what
He said it was the 72nd hour of a 72-hour bender.
So I want to dive into this because I was really waiting to hear from him. And I think that the apology was decent in some ways and atrocious in some other ways. One, we'll start with the negatives because I'm a negative person. It was so clearly scripted, and I think that very little attempt was made to make it seem like it wasn't scripted. Like, it's been a week, and whether or not he wrote it or someone else, like, whenever you sound scripted, people doubt you. So even if these were his words and he just wanted to read it from a paper so he didn't forget anything, like, that I understand. But it just sounded very scripted. He had, he couldn't even take a breath between the sentences. Like, it was just, that was disappointing.
Well, if it's going to be scripted, would you rather someone pretend like it's not and sort of lie, or just have it be scripted so you know that they were reading what they wanted to say?
I would much prefer someone say, like, I wrote down my thoughts.
Okay.
That's what Hannah Brown did when she went on that Instagram Live. She said, I wrote down my thoughts and I don't want to forget them. And I think that's very honest, and like, I can respect that. But to make it seem like you're thinking of it off the cuff, like, that's just annoying. And it was so clearly scripted. And I'm not saying that means he didn't write it.
Yeah.
I thought the apology, just in its words, were actually pretty good because he said a few key things that I think were really important. Like, one, to his supporters, like, please stop defending me because what I did was indefensible. And I think that's like a really important thing to say. The other thing was like talking about how his first apology was trash.
Yeah.
And how he said that he had written more and some of the publications like only chose a few lines, but regardless, like, it wasn't nearly appropriate enough. And the third thing that he said that I thought was important was the sobriety of it all. So he says he's 9 days sober now.
Yeah.
Which obviously is not an excuse. And I do think he has a very long journey of healing and self-discovery in front of him. And this is a step. Like, I always want to assume that people are capable of changing because I know that they are. But again, this is not my apology to either accept or not accept. And I will leave it at that. I think it was fine. It wasn't great.
I thought, I agree with you. I think that his words, he said a lot of things that really struck a chord. And I think also this is a theme that we were seeing even randomly in Real Housewives of Salt Lake City. It's like, you can apologize for something, but forgiveness is given when the actions change afterwards. So I think that him sitting down, and I believe that he wrote what he wanted to say and then read it because you don't want to get it wrong and you don't want to forget something. But I think this is a really good first step for him. And as he said, he's going on a journey, like, he's going to go off the grid for a little bit, and who knows if he's going to get like fully sober. He's also said that he would be meeting with groups to educate himself. The NAACP recently offered to meet with him, and he said that he accepted some invitations from some amazing Black organizations.
And you know what? I thought that was a great thing that he said too, was like, he was really like, everything was happening all around him, and leaders from Black organizations and Black communities were reaching out to him to educate him and kind of like, help him. And he's like, even when I like so grossly offended them, like, they could have stepped on my neck and like, they reached out to help me, which was like, he says meant a lot to him. So overall, I agree. Like, the words of the apology were actually pretty good. I think the delivery was kind of weak, and I'm just looking at it from like a strategic standpoint because like, I have made an apology video myself. Like, I just think it was the delivery was meh, but again, it's like not my apology to accept. It's not our apologies to accept. So I'm curious to see like what he does with his life.
Yeah, and what the next steps are as this being a first step.
I just think like as like I said, like, I'm not Black. It's not on me to accept his apology, but as a fan, I'm just like tired of like his like drama,
Yeah, but I think
behave.
It seems like he's tired of it too, and I think that he wants to make real change in his life on a number of levels, and he's going to go and do that.
Yeah. Well, I'm always going to champion someone who wants to better themselves,
right?
And I'm not going to, kick them while they're down. So hopefully,
we'll see a new Morgan.
An MW, new Morgan Wallen.
Okay, you ready for our next story?
Yeah.
The Bachelor's Chris Harrison is apologizing for, quote, speaking in a manner that perpetuates racism.
This was fucking weird.
Yeah. Earlier this week, the longtime host addressed the controversy surrounding current contestant Rachel Kirkconnell while speaking with Bachelor Nation's Rachel Lindsay. Although Harrison told Lindsay he wanted fans to, quote, have a little grace with Kirkconnell in the wake of her resurfaced and racially insensitive photos, his comments didn't sit well with some fans, even resulting in a petition calling for him to be removed from the franchise. Now, in a statement, Harrison admitted to, quote, wrongly speaking in a manner that perpetuates racism, and he apologized to fans. He said to my Bachelor Nation family, I will always own a mistake when I make one, so I am here to extend a sincere apology. I have this incredible platform to speak about love, and yesterday I took a stance on topics which I should have been better informed. While I do not speak for Rachel Kirkconnell, my intentions were simply to ask for grace in offering her an opportunity to speak on her own behalf.
Yeah, this was really bizarre. And after I watched the interview, I was left feeling, 100% convinced that Rachel Kirkconnell is the winner of this season, because I've never seen somebody like so blindly defend someone like Chris Harrison did Rachel Kirkconnell.
Especially Chris Harrison. He typically doesn't get involved in anything.
So I'm convinced that she's the winner.
Yeah, which is a bummer that it's sort of spoiled.
And it's weird because all this stuff has come out about her, and she's dating, possibly engaged to a black man. And I think that Rachel Lindsay steered the conversation with Chris Harrison very well. And I know Rachel Lindsay is very passionate about things like this. And I think that Chris Harrison, among his many mistakes in that conversation, was just being so flippant about the whole thing.
Yes.
And really kind of talking down to Rachel, when of the two of them, Rachel is the expert on racism, not you, Chris Harrison. So I felt like he just came into the conversation so weirdly strong, and he was just dying on this hill where he was kind of wrong, pretty much wrong. And I just found it so bizarre. And I'm thinking to myself, I thought it was weird that he was defending a contestant so hard, which is not something he ever does. And B, especially when, what she's being held accountable for, she needs to be held accountable for.
Yeah.
And I think Rachel's point, which was really well said, is okay, but when are we going to hear from her?
Yeah, and I think now, after all of this too, it is time to hear from her. I've always been under the impression that contestants can't speak on anything. They can't go on podcasts. They can't do anything until after they're eliminated from the show. But Rachel Lindsay said that she is under no contractual obligation to not speak about this.
Yeah.
So now that it's become an even bigger conversation, and I feel like it started out on the internet and
Reddit.
You have to be really into Bachelor news to have heard about it, but now it's very much in the mainstream. Chris Harrison is speaking about it, apologizing about it. I think it's time to hear from Rachel.
I agree, and that's pretty much the point Rachel was trying to make. Aside from Chris Harrison going on so many bizarre tangents about Confederate statues, I literally didn't know what he was talking about. He was going, and he was just being so weird. Rachel's whole point was of course, let's give people a chance to explain themselves. Explain yourself, Rachel. She's just been MIA.
Yeah.
So I think Rachel handled the whole conversation really well, especially given the fact that Chris Harrison was kind of condescending the whole time. And he was I don't know, Rachel, do we need to talk about racism? It's Chris Harrison has not been alive this last 1 or 2 years, where we're changing how we talk about race and racism in America. And it was I felt like I was watching an interview from 2008. It was so bizarre.
Yeah.
And I just was left 100% convinced that Rachel Kirkconnell is the winner. So I think we can pretty much call it. Yeah, they wouldn't defend anyone and protect them so hard if they weren't a winner.
Yeah, I have a feeling we'll be hearing from her soon, but I guess the initial plan was to wait until
after the final
show ended, because that's what's been done in the past.
Garrett.
When a winner had controversy or someone who was a runner-up, we heard from them when the season ended. But I just feel with social media, everything, the pace of everything is just faster. And
right.
I think we should be hearing from her soon.
I agree. And just kudos to Rachel Lindsay for steering that conversation, because it was painful at times, and it was long too. It was 14 minutes.
Yeah, it was long.
Longer than normal extra TV segments.
I had the same thought.
Me too.
I got multiple ads served to me in the YouTube video.
Yeah, and I was is this whole conversation about Rachel Kirkconnell? And all 14 minutes were about it.
Yeah.
So bizarre. And I do think that probably because Rachel Lindsay is still doing the Bachelorette podcast.
Happy Hour.
She's still under some form of Bachelor contract with ABC. Mm-hmm. So I'm sure she couldn't, really say what she wanted to say to Chris Harrison.
Yeah. Agreed. Okay, next story is really exciting for toasters and people everywhere. Rebecca Black drops a Friday.
For toasters and human beings everywhere.
Yes, I guess they are one and the same.
Yes.
Rebecca Black drops a Friday remix with a wild new music video. This was just something that like nobody asked for, but that we all needed
Desperately.
and we did not even know.
Desperately.
Internet sensation Rebecca Black is celebrating the 11th anniversary of her song Friday in psychedelic
I
style.
feel old. 11.
I know, and it's like should have been for the 10th.
Yeah, or like wait 4 more years, the 15th.
Yeah, but it couldn't have come at a better time because we're just like we literally sing the song like multiple times a week.
Yeah, I don't know if I'll be singing this new techno version.
No, it's super techno.
It's not my vibe.
No, but I'm just like glad for the renewed excitement for the song.
Yeah, no, of course. And I love
Bla-
that she's leaning into it.
Yes, and she is like a bona fide influencer these days.
Yeah.
And so I love when, people go back to maybe
their roots.
embarrassing thing that made them famous.
No, because she's kind of evolved past it, especially on TikTok. She's like a queer TikTok icon. Like she's really big on TikTok. She has like a successful influencing career. So she doesn't have to like go back to the same, which she actually has talked about, like, although it was like funny and fun for us, like she actually like had to do a lot of therapy because of it.
You would imagine,
it's
like
traumatizing. Yeah. So it's this thing that like we look back on it fondly. I don't think that she does.
Well, maybe now she does. Maybe she's gotten to a place now. But like she was 13 years old when this video came out, and it was like part of like it was like an after school activity to like go write a song and make a music video, and it went completely viral and like not in the most positive way. I can imagine that is extremely traumatizing.
Right. So I think it's very cool, and I'm sure it was probably like part of her therapy to redo this.
This must be liberating.
But the song sucks. Like the new version. It's like, would you repaint the Mona Lisa? Like, why would you do that?
No, you wouldn't. Like, you don't fuck with the masterpiece. But I'm sure they just had fun with it. Big Frida's on the song, and I think Rebecca Black was really excited to get other people involved. Like, she was excited to see that people would want to be involved with it.
It's just not my particular genre of music, so...
I also think she should have gotten you involved, but that's just me.
No, I think she should have used this set.
100%. Yeah. So check it out if you're looking for some
I watched the video. It was cute.
It was cute. If you're looking for some great new jams.
Yeah.
And it's also on our Instagram. You posted
it. If you are epileptic, I would not recommend watching the video. It was very strobe-y. It actually had a strobe warning on the opening card, the title card.
Well, that's nice at least.
Yeah.
Fifth and final story, some ad drama.
Some AD?
Ad
drama?
Ad drama. The Ad Council is quaking.
Oh my God. Or like the Parents TV Association, like they're quaking. What's the news?
It's actually some drama. Bruce Springsteen's Super Bowl ad.
Oh my God.
Has been scrapped from Jeep's YouTube page amid a DWI bust.
Oh shit.
Yep. Bruce Springsteen's Super Bowl LV Jeep commercial, which we talked about and a lot of people did, was yanked from YouTube on Wednesday after the Legends DWI bust came to light.
Wait, is it it just happened?
November 14th, he got a DWI, and like the
how did the media like not find out?
I don't know. It was at a national park. It's like so.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A national park?
Yeah.
If you do something bad in a national park, like you could literally be like sentenced to life in prison. Like crazy shit happens on national parks.
Yeah, because they're national. It's just
and
like
they're
a federal
parks.
It's a
federal
offense.
property.
Yay, maybe. That just sounds like what it might be.
No, but it's definitely federal property.
The clip is now unavailable. It says this video is private. The Hollywood Reporter first reported that the ad had been taken off of Jeep's page at around 1 p.m. The commercial wasn't on Jeep's Twitter on Wednesday. It was revealed that Bruce was arrested at November. Bruce.
Oh my God, I was just thinking that. Like, to me, he's not Bruce, he's Bruce Springsteen. But then when you realize that he has the same name as your dog.
I know, and I feel like people might think when I call him Bruce on Instagram that I named him after Bruce
Springsteen or Bruce Salfer?
Oh, I mean, all of the above.
Yeah.
Okay, it was revealed that Bruce Springsteen, not Fichemin,
wine rep,
Nespresso Sweets, was arrested November 14th at a national park in his home state of New Jersey and charged with the DWI, reckless driving, and consuming alcohol in a closed area.
Eek.
A spokesperson for the National Park Service said Springsteen was cooperative throughout the process. According to TMZ, which first reported the arrest, the allegedly juiced Bruce has a
Bruce on the juice.
Ba-dum-bum.
Bruce on the juice.
Has a court date coming in the next few weeks and has no known prior busts for DWI. A Jeep spokesperson said it would be inappropriate to comment on the matter that the brand can't substantiate, but they said, quote, "It's also right that we pause our big game commercial until the actual facts can be established. Its message of community and unity is as relevant as ever, as is the message that drinking and driving can never be condoned."
Fuck community and unity. You're a car brand and your spokesperson just got arrested for drunk driving. Like, that is quite possibly the worst thing Bruce Springsteen could have done during his time as the Jeep spokesperson. He would have been better off killing someone, because it's not maybe if it was a hit and run, that would be bad, but like, you know what I mean, like the direct association between the Jeep
of course
and the drunk driving is so bad.
Of course.
So good on them for taking it down. I didn't even know, like, I think it's so crazy that this kind of went under the radar.
The biggest rock star in the world can get a DWI and we don't hear about it.
Right. No, that's power.
Yeah.
That's true power. And I feel like Bruce, can you imagine like being the cop who had to arrest Bruce Springsteen? He's probably like, Bruce, I'm sorry, I love your work, you know?
Yeah, it would have been good if it was me because I didn't recognize him.
Yeah. Or like, don't know any of his songs. I know like two.
Yeah. Baby, I was born to run.
I don't think that's how it goes.
I think it's We Were Born to Run. I just made it selfish.
And I know that one that Zach Shapiro loves. Rosalita. And then I think that's it.
Yeah, I'm sure there's more.
Oh yeah, that one where he's like, Bruce on the loose.
Ba-dum-bum. Bruce on the loose.
Seriously, not cool to drink and drive. Don't fucking do it. Whether you're Bruce Springsteen or just a fabulous toaster, there's nothing fabulous about drinking and driving.
100%.
And honestly, I'm judging Bruce Springsteen. You know, I actually really, really like, I like to act dead serious. Like, I really like to pride myself on being someone who's not judgmental, like at all. Like, you can tell me things about your lifestyle, and I really feel like I'm so open. I do not judge people, and I always think like if I were ever a housewife, that would probably be like my greatest feature. Like, I really think that. But I judge people so hard.
You do. You take it really seriously.
I have not fucked with Sam Hunt since he did that and like barely gave us an apology. Like, I don't support, like, and I'm not into cancel culture. It's just personally, like, I think it's so disgusting. Like,
to drink and drive.
To drink and drive. And like, I think of you so differently. But other than that, like, I'm really not judgmental.
Okay.
I'm really not.
Okay. So, but what you're saying is you're judging Bruce.
I'm hardcore judging Bruce. Like, you're the richest person in the world. Like, get a driver.
100%.
And like, drivers are so elegant and chic. And then you could like drink in the back. Like, it's ideal.
Drink in the back like a rock star.
Yeah, like get a limousine. It's just, it's so stupid.
Yeah.
Same with Sam Hunt. Like, all the resources in the world. Take an Uber Black.
Well, no, in the age of Uber,
there's no excuse.
No excuse for
Not that
anyone.
there ever was, but still, you're right. Uber, Lyft, anywhere you go. I went on tour to 60 cities. Every single one of them had Lyft or some sort of rideshare. Mm-hmm. There's no excuse, 100%. Okay. You know, like, like what would happen to me?
No.
Do you know what I'm going to say?
I don't know, but I don't want you to even say.
No, like, let's say like 10 years from now, like I'm going through something dark and like I get arrested for a DWI and like this clip goes viral.
100%.
But no, I would never. Mostly because like I can barely drive sober, like let alone drunk.
Yeah, that's why I just don't drive at all.
Yeah, no, for sure. Don't fucking do it. Time for TV recap?
Yes.
Real Housewives of Salt Lake City Part 1 Reunion. Recap is brought to you by Ancestry. There are many paths to finding your family story. Whichever way you choose, tracing your family generations back with a family tree or uncovering your ethnicity with an Ancestry DNA, it's easy to get started with Ancestry. An Ancestry DNA test tells you where your ancestors are from, and Ancestry's billions of records and millions of family trees let you discover their personal stories. You could find a famous relative, wow, that'd be sick, or perhaps a photo of your great-grandma as a little girl. Whatever you find, it's sure to change the whole way you look at your family history and yourself. After all, the story of your family is the story of you. Researching your history is a fun activity for the whole family, and the stories you learn about your shared past can bring you closer together. Ancestry DNA can reveal ethnic origins and provide historical details that bring unique family stories to life. Ancestry DNA doesn't tell you which countries you're from, but it can also pinpoint the specific regions within those countries, giving you insightful geographic details about your history. Trace the paths of your recent ancestors and learn how and why your family moved from place to place around the world. No other DNA test delivers such a unique, interactive experience. It's easy to start making discoveries with Ancestry. Grab an Ancestry DNA kit and start a free trial to amplify your discoveries with Ancestry's billions of records. Start exploring your family story today. Head to our link, ancestry.com/toast, to get your Ancestry DNA kit and start your free trial. That's ancestry.com/toast.
Love it.
Okay, part 1 of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City reunion. It was very exciting. Like, something about seeing all the women like together being civil like was kind of weird, because I don't think since
the lunch
Mary's red carpet Met Gala have we had every single woman together.
Yeah, because Mary did not participate in anything, but then she showed up and showed out for the reunion.
She was very lucid, and I think that's probably been one of her biggest people have critiqued her the most for, like, she's kind of all over the place in her storytelling and in her conversations. But I thought she was very clear-headed. I thought she was great. I loved seeing her, but it did feel weird. It's like seeing a dog walk on its hind legs. I'm like, I'm not used to seeing Mary sit down and talk to every single person.
Yeah, I agree. But she did a great job for herself, and I actually feel like she could be a housewife again next season.
Yeah.
But they'll just have to do it. Like, they need to solve this thing between Jen and Mary, because I think they'll both be back next season, and they need to be able to film together.
Yeah, but you know what? I felt like, and I know it was only part 1, but I wasn't even that interested in the Mary versus Jen. I'm really shook at, like, Lisa and Jen versus the world. This Lisa and Jen alliance is so bizarre, because I really cannot pinpoint any moment this season of them.
Yeah. But yeah, no, they clearly are very much having each other's backs. I feel like Lisa sees that she's not going to be America's sweetheart, and that, like, being friends with Heather, like, Heather is really the breakout star of the season, like, so beloved. Rihanna's DMing her.
That was crazy.
That was crazy. And so I think Lisa sees that she probably erred in that, but that also Jen Shah is a huge star from this season.
So she's going to attach herself.
Yes.
Yeah, Lisa's so, like, shallow, and I can really, like, see through all of her decision making and how she just loves being a housewife and wants to be well liked. And I think the comment that she made towards the end of the episode, blaming Heather for the audience not liking her, she's like, the audience doesn't like me and sends me DMs calling me, and name calling is not correct, but to blame Heather, who you're arguing with on a show, for people not liking you is so backwards. Like, maybe people don't like you because everyone in the room is saying the exact same thing. Like, you act like you're better, like, than everyone. And so if everyone came to this conclusion on their own, like, maybe it is time. And I'm a person who's actually very similar to Lisa. Like, I know sometimes people think I can be bitchy and, like, I'm very direct and loud. And I get that. And it definitely does get misconstrued sometimes. But if every single person I'm friends with has the same kind of feeling after interacting with me, that I give off the vibe that I think I'm better than them, and that, like, I talk down to them, like, that's a terrible way to make someone feel.
Yeah, that's
and
just
I wish she would just, like, take that in more.
Yeah, and just reflect on that.
And I don't even know any of these women, but when I look at the show, what did I say here 3 weeks ago? I'm like, Lisa thinks she's too good for all these women.
Yeah.
So it's like her friends are coming to that assumption. The audience, like, maybe it's time to just reflect inward and be like, why do I give off that vibe?
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to be so defensive all the time. Mm-hmm. It was just frustrating. And that whole thing of her blaming Heather was insane and backwards. Like, that's not how it works.
Yeah. And to me, I feel like the clearest example of her thinking she was better than the other women was when she had that dinner on the mountain for, like, business women in Salt Lake City.
And didn't, like, invite a single one.
And didn't invite her fellow business women on the show. And it's like, oh, no, you're not the kind of businesswoman
that
I want to support.
And what I thought was most interesting was learning more about Jen Shah's business. Because it seems like, because we've been saying, like, an assistant college football coach doesn't live this lifestyle, Balmain, Chanel, Versace, everything, mansion, chalet, party. It seems like she's the breadwinner in the family, which I thought was so interesting. And her company sounds like a legit tech business. Like, yes, it sounded really interesting. I would love to know more.
I agree. Maybe we'll get more next season. Like, maybe they'll say, oh, the viewers were interested in this. Like, let's focus on this as your personal storyline. Because I totally agree. That was the vibe that I got too. And I'm very much here for it and interested in learning more.
Right. And it's like a super successful company. Like, she's not every day, you know, in meetings about it, but it's like, it's a self-sufficient company. I thought that was fascinating. Mm-hmm. Heather is so clearly, like, the queen of the show. And I think her and Whitney in the beginning I felt was a little weak, but I think, like, she's not a confrontational person, but the show kind of makes you into that type of person. And I think together they're an unstoppable duo. And I love that Meredith is, like, sitting on their side, even though, like, I don't think she's really on their side. But I just need her because, like, the three of them are my queens.
It also feels like there's some tension between Meredith and Lisa.
Yes, I do think we will unpack it in part 2 and 3.
Which is crazy and also a little sad. They've been friends for 10 years and then, like, this show is 1 season.
20.
But wow. I guess it also, like, when the cameras go up, like, you see people for who they really are. I don't know what happens between them, but that would make me a little bit sad, but better to know than to not know.
I did have one problem with where Meredith was sitting due to her side part. I did feel like half the time I could only see her left eye, and I wish she either moved the part to the other side so we could see, like face, hair, as opposed to face, hair when the camera's over there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was, like, very emo, like, Mom, I'm working on my art right now.
Yeah, that's true. I also didn't think that Meredith deserved third.
I thought the seating was bizarre.
Yeah.
Because it's Andy in the middle, and then flanking is Heather and Jen. Perfect.
Yeah.
Then it was Lisa or Mary next to...
Lisa and then Mary.
Yeah.
Lisa should have been in the third seat, as should Mary, but I guess they wouldn't... No, actually, it should have been It should have been
Heather, Whitney, Mary.
Yes, Heather, Whitney, Mary, Jen, Meredith, Lisa. But you know what? I think the three of them have a lot of conflict, and it would have been weird looking.
I also think now that for the last couple of reunions, everyone's had to be 6 feet apart. Like, it does change the typical template of Housewives seating charts.
Yeah, it's not the same.
Yeah. I feel like Andy was having like the best time because it's like fresh women. He's used to doing reunions with people who've been on the show for 10 years. Like, these women are fresh and they're not calculated at all. Like, they're just saying what they feel because this is all so new to them. And I think Andy was like having the time of his life.
Yeah, and I think that the show has been really well received, and I think it's an exciting thing for him. And I can imagine, even though it's so fabulous to us, I'm sure it gets mundane for him. And 100%. We even can sense it sometimes in like OC reunion.
12 hours days, like just shooting.
So I think that it was like a reinvigoration of excitement.
And the biggest topic of conversation that came out of the reunion was Lisa Barlow's spray tan. Her hands were like so dark and patchy. And honestly, that's really unacceptable. Like, as a housewife, like, glam like has to be perfect.
And she's usually on point.
Very. I actually love her dress.
Me too. When I saw the individual photos of what everyone was wearing, I was like, what?
Question mark.
They're actually quite a fashionable bunch. But they looked okay on the show. Just like, I don't know. Some of it was weird. Like,
Heather's was bad. Jen Shah's is terrible.
Whitney's dress was huge.
Yeah, it was. But actually, Meredith looked fire. Lisa looked great. Mary, not my personal style, but I still respect it.
And I like that she has her own personal style.
And she didn't give in, like, when they were like, what is with your green loofah dress? Like, she was like, it's Versace. I like it. Not everyone can pull it off. You don't like it. You don't wear it. Like, that's actually a really respectable
response. No, I appreciate that. I hate when people, like,
clown on someone.
No, hate that. But I also hate when someone is themselves and it's not well received, so they change who they are.
So
or they
lame.
change what they look like. And it's like, no, just have the courage to be who you are.
Yeah, no, I definitely think I'm the former, but still.
No, I'm sure. I think most people are that, but I actually felt the opposite. I felt the same way about Lisa too. It was like, she saw how she came off on the show, and considering she really wants to be on the show and be well, like, she could have, like, at the reunion kissed Heather's ass, but instead she kind of doubled down on who she is. And even though I have like some issues with her, I kind of respected that she stood up for herself.
That's a really fair point. But I did really start to warm up to her when she started crying about her kids. Not that I want her to cry, but it's like, finally, there's a human being behind this like perfect Mormon woman. Like, it was just, I don't think, first of all, I'd ever seen her cry thus far. And I think we've pretty much seen everyone cry or like be emotional. And that's what Andy was saying too. She was just like so stoic and like wanted to win every argument and be like gifable and like memeable. And like, she won the argument. And just to see her break down, not that I want to see her sad, but it's like, oh my God, there is a real human being behind this character. And everyone has been vulnerable. Like Heather's dad passing away, Jen's dad passing away, Meredith and her struggles with her husband. Mary opened up about how like it was really hard for her to marry her fucking step grandfather 20 years ago. Like Whitney and all the shit she's been through. Like everyone has been so honest, except for Lisa. She's like, my business. Like it was just like so vapid.
Yeah.
And it was nice to see her open up, and I hope we see more like genuine sides of her, like more human sides of her. Like nobody cares that you're the most successful, the most, like you don't have to be the most everything, just be a human being.
Yeah, I agree with that. I also feel like there's a chance right now. I'm like unsure of Lisa, and in some moments I'm like, yeah, and in other moments I'm like, oh no, oh no. But I feel like she could be one of those people who it takes like a few seasons to fully understand. Dorit, Cameron Westcott,
Eileen Davidson,
and like once you understand her, like maybe she's everything of the sort. Like I don't know, but I only feel that way because every time there's a new episode, I feel differently about her, and I just feel like I'm learning more. But I do think like we need to see more from her if she wants to get to that place. That's all I'm saying.
And she has to open up more. Like she can't survive on Housewives like just being like business. Like that's not fun.
Yeah.
Open up. What are you sad about? What makes you happy? Lisa Vanderpump. What keeps you up at night? Like these are the things that make a great housewife: vulnerability, honesty, transparency.
But it might just take time with her.
Yeah.
Not everyone is just like, oh,
ready to open up.
It's time to be open. Here I am. Like,
agreed.
And I think people can relate to that too. Right now, I think she's didn't come off the best this season, but I feel like there could be more to her.
Yeah, no, I just found it really interesting that like Jen Shah was clear like the obvious villain this season, but for some reason I'm feeling like the reunions are going in the direction of like everyone versus Lisa. And I just want to know like why this Lisa Jen alliance.
Yeah, I feel like we will get to know more, but I also don't think we got into the Jen stuff like from Vegas and from Sharif's
Right,
party.
we haven't gotten there yet.
So who knows what's going on?
Yeah, and I did feel like the footage was really doing Lisa dirty because she was like so judgmental to Whitney about dancing at Sharif's party. When she full on did the splits, Whitney brought it up and they cut to a clip of her. Like, that's what people mean when they say, like, you think you're better than everyone. So like, if Whitney dancing is trashy, you doing it is fine.
Yeah.
That's like hypocrisy, the definition of hypocrisy.
Yes.
So the editors were just really on one.
I also feel like next season, like, I don't need them to add any housewives and I don't need them to take any away. I could go for this group again.
Them getting more comfortable. I completely agree.
Yeah, and it's also been over a year since they filmed this season. Like, I think there's a lot there.
Yeah, I really love Meredith. She didn't say one word her part isn't up yet. Like, she has beef with Jen. So her part isn't up yet, but she was super quiet. And I just find it interesting. Like, she's not the typical housewife who I would like gravitate towards, but I just love her.
Yeah, me too. No, I think she's playing it well so far. It's like, I'm not going to speak unless
spoken to,
which
very mature.
Yeah, it's a long day.
It's a long day, but those chairs actually do look comfortable. Like, of all the chairs,
this set was also really cute. But
loved
like
the fake fireplace in the middle.
Yes, but it was like a little like too much. Like, they could have dialed it back a little bit.
Oh, I actually really loved it.
It was like a lot of like grandma's house.
I liked it. I thought it was like,
no, I love the furs. I love the fake snow. But if you looked in the background, there was like so much going on.
Oh, I didn't look in the background.
There was so much going on. It looked like crazy.
I thought it was a great opening reunion.
Me too. I'm glad that it's 3 parts, which means that it's juicy.
Yeah, and that means they respect
Salt Lake City,
the executives over at Bravo. Mm-hmm. Now, speaking of housewives, I'm really excited for our interview coming up. If you're watching on YouTube, again, it's only available as a podcast because she joined us from Dallas. Jen Davis from The Real Housewives of Dallas is taking us on her journey with her. You can tell she's kind of nervous in the beginning because it's like kind of a big thing she went through, and part of the reason why she was hired as a housewife but had to step back. And I think you'll just really appreciate her honesty, and I encourage everyone to go into it with an open mind because it was very cool.
It was very cool.
Of her.
And with that, we will see you tomorrow. Tomorrow's episode is podcast only. And don't forget to watch Little because we'll be recapping it, our Toast movie of the week.
Yes, don't forget Little, available to stream on HBO Max. Recap coming at you in tomorrow's podcast only episode. Bye.
See you then. Bye.